So the third tactic of Level Agency's core four, the things in digital advertising that your college or university absolutely has to do, is what we call social media or social network CAT campaigns. And CAT stands for Custom Audience Targeting. Much like trade name search and retargeting display, it's got three attributes that, from a marketing standpoint, from a running the marketing of a university or a college, is really nice to have. But number one, it is an incredibly low cost in terms of the budget that you'll spend per month. Again, if you spend more than $500 or $1,500, depending on the size of your aged leads or your aged inquiries or how many people in your database, I'd be shocked if you're spending more than a few $1,000s in Facebook or Instagram, as an example, CAT campaigns. The second thing is, much like trade name search and retargeting banner ads, they are very easy to build. So social networks, Facebook in particular, I personally, even though I've got wonderful, smart coworkers who are better than I ever was at media buying, working in Google or working in Facebook, I still make sure that a few hours a month, I personally dive back into these platforms so I know what the heck I'm talking about, because they are so fickle and finicky sometimes. Facebook is not nearly as seamless as Google is to operate. But even though Facebook is kind of a pain in the butt, from an expert digital marketer standpoint, even people that I work with who are weapons grade, third degree black belt ninjas at paid social media, and we're talking paid social media, not organic social, which is important, but it is not a lever for getting new inquiries and students. So my best paid social media buyers, there are some really difficult campaigns, but it is incredibly easy to build CAT campaigns. It takes, from a targeting standpoint, the targeting is, we'll get to in a second, it could not be easier. So one of the most difficult things in working with Facebook and Instagram for colleges and universities is the targeting prospective students. This type of targeting that we'll get to in a second, we joke it's like shooting very dumb ducks in a very small barrel. It is incredibly simple, that we'll get to in a second. So again, it's really easy to build. You can probably do, to an extent, some of this in-house. And I'll say again, I run a digital agency. I want what I do to be so hard and necessary that every school needs to hire us. These things aren't the level of difficulty where you need an agency. We're a nice to have, not a need to have. And most importantly, it is an extraordinarily awesome and low cost per enrollment. So again, everything I'm talking about is cheap. It is easy to build, and it represents some of the best cost per enrollments in the marketing space. So let's get to some examples. I'll pop up some visual aids if we can. So again, we'll just use Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, Facebook owns Instagram. LinkedIn does this as well. So the big three social networks that you should be using for your school that do offer not just the CAT campaigns, but all types of paid social network advertising. Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn are the ones that have a good ROI if you know what you're doing, not just CAT campaigns, but the more up funnel ways to target students. The other platforms, Snapchat and Twitter, to use some examples, they are not there yet from a good ROI standpoint. Trust me, we test these things every month. We've been testing for years. LinkedIn used to be a complete dumpster fire from an ROI standpoint. They've gotten much better in the past 2 years, but stick with, for this example, just stick with Facebook and Instagram because it's the same platform. So you can check off both Facebook and Instagram using the same platform. Much like in trade name search, you could use Google for trade name search and also do your retargeting banner ad campaigns within Google. Same thing with Facebook because it owns Instagram. So the targeting is really, really easy. This is essentially a retargeting campaign, but here's the beauty. Now this is incredibly powerful, whether you're an online modality, campus, or both. If you have inquiries you've already paid for, and let's just, you break out inquiries into the brand new ones, past 30 days, and also your aged, I hate saying leads, but your aged leads or your aged inquiries, the targeting is crazy simple. You take a list of all of your unconverted inquiries in the past, it could be 3 or 5 years. You upload that email list, into Facebook, and Facebook will match those row email addresses with individuals, the actual people that belong to those email addresses. Agencies can use this because Facebook, we can have our client schools, or basically as a third party, we don't get direct access to that as an agency. And if you have different tiers of permissions within your college or university, it's not like everyone's going to have access to the PII of your students. So Facebook's done a really good job of keeping that like to a sacred tranche of information. But basically, you upload those email addresses into Facebook, and it matches. And again, it depends on certainly grad schools tend to, in general, associate's level programs or graduate PsyD PhD programs have different percentages of like business email addresses versus Hotmail or Yahoo or Gmail addresses. So it does depend on like your percentage of like how many Gmail addresses. If you're uploading 10,000 or 100,000 inquiries, aged leads, email addresses only into Facebook, the match rate's probably going to be at least 50%, sometimes as high as 75%. All that means is if you put in 100 email addresses, you're at least going to get 50 individuals, if not about 75. That's phenomenal. I mean, it could be 10 and you'd still do it. So what you do is you take your aged lead database, you put every one of those email addresses of your aged inquiries, people that have not applied or people that even have applied but never started or enrolled or started, you upload them into Facebook and Instagram, and you're just targeting those people. That's it. And that sounds incredibly simple and almost too good to be true. It is. It is, from an ROI standpoint, it is often second only to trade name search as the lowest cost per enrollment. The only drawback is if you've got a very limited aged inquiry pool, which I doubt because most colleges and universities have been around for a bit and you've got databases. So the only drawback is if you don't have a huge database, this is not a huge win. But for the colleges and universities that have some schools we work with, they've got inquiries that go back 10, 15, 20 years. I'm not saying go back 20 years, but what I am saying is even inquiries 2, 3, 4 years old, they're worthy to be marketed to on Facebook and Instagram. Now again, the hard part is building ad campaigns on Facebook that aren't terrible. So like the days of you showing a stock photo of like a bunch of nurses at a hospital, but it's a stock photo to advertise your nursing program, like that's garbage. Facebook and Instagram in particular have led the way where you really need to have rich media, something that's some video-based advertisement. So something that I mean, in a perfect world, and I know a lot of you guys do great work at every graduation and capture faculty profiles, student testimonials, parent testimonials, things like that. Those things are perfect to redeploy and recycle and turn into a good Facebook or Instagram ad. So that's what we encourage you to do. So in terms of building the ads themselves, the creative, the ads, what we call in marketing, that's not the easiest sometimes because a lot of schools that we've seen or other companies, they phone it in, they put a static image that's a stock photo and it doesn't work, and then companies or schools come back and say, hey, we tried this and it didn't work. It's like, yeah, but your creative sucked. So I mean, that's a little more difficult, but from a targeting standpoint, you don't need a marketing agency to do this well. And so again, we call that social media campaigns or custom audience targeting, and that would be number 3 in our core 4 must-do things for every college and university.